So once it starts, I start taking.
Yeah, and then you have to count up to see if there's an equal number. If there's a quorum, you have to see, and then if there's a quorum, we say
How many is it for?
half, at least half.
So,
One more than half.
oh, one more than half. So it's like 50, so 26.
So you know, nobody does my way. Yeah. Right.
All right. So folks, good evening. Happy Monday. I hope the eclipse treated you well and everything else. And so this meeting, so as long as you didn't look at it straight in the eyes and you had the shades on, right? So this meeting of Brooklyn Community Board 14 is called to order on Monday, April 8th, 2024 at 7:03 p.m. under the applicable statutes of New York State, the Charter of New York City, the board's bylaws, and Robert's Rules of Order. So the board's policy is to encourage detailed public discussion of matters before the board at our committee meetings and at public hearings. So consequently, except by board members, there will be no public discussion at our regularly monthly meeting about which a public hearing or committee meeting has been held. Specific service delivery requests or complaints should be brought to the attention of the district office's staff by calling the board office during regular business hours or by visiting our website anytime. Other matters of civic interest may be brought before the board during our scheduled public comment period, which will begin tonight after all other business on the board's monthly meeting agenda has been concluded. No partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises will be heard. Persons wishing to speak during the public comment period were asked to pre-register. So with that being said, could the secretary please do the roll call?
Thank you. Wakil Ahmed. Gregory Alvarez. Here. Hindi Bendel. Benjamin Bendet. Here. Christopher Bromson. Present. Joanne Brown. Present. Michelle Bronson. Edward Sen. Present. Carmen Siriobel. Carl Henry Cesar. Present. Florencia Changajita present. Yvette Claire Jean. Here. Mark Cohen. Stephen D. Cohen. Here. Elizabeth Denise. Here. Derek Donald. Here. Sabina Dorville. Joseph Dweck, Yehuda Eckstein, Lee Harmon, Musa Asun, William Attar, Mehdi Harris, Mordecai Osarski, Nautica Johnson, Shahid Khan, Naomi Lipnick, Donald Loggins, Sasha Masluski, Melissa Minnick, Ephraim Nierenberg, Eric Ost, Ornella Parker, present. Suzanne Phillip. Zvi Plosker. I don't know if I said that name correctly, if the person's here. Zvi? Plosker. Okay. Edward Powell. Barden Prasant. Mohammed Razvi. Baza Ruhi. Nina Sabgair. Talisha Sinville. Moshe Schoenfeld? Not sure I'm saying it correct.
Schoenfeld, not here.
Joel Siegel. Gail L. Smith. Abraham Treff. Deborah Valentin.
Here.
Corazon Valiente. Dawn Marie Walker. Glenn Wallen.
We have a quorum.
Yeah, okay.
So, exactly. So thank you very much for your help there, Secretary. We do have quorum. And so next on to the minutes. And so the minutes from the last board meeting were sent out. First, were there any changes for the minutes that the Community Board Office received via email?
No.
Okay, so hearing that, are there any proposed changes to the meeting minutes from March's board meeting from the floor? Okay, so hearing none, do I have a motion to adopt the minutes of the March 2024 General Board meeting? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Anyone ineligible? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. So next up, we have the district manager's report.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Is this on? First of all, I want to start out by doing something I should do more often, probably every meeting, and that is thanking my staff, Sarah Skla and Patricia Olander. It's been a busy month. It doesn't seem to ever get unbusy, and they've been really stepping up to the plate. Appreciate all of the work on the website, keeping that up to date, and Sarah's been stepping into a bunch of community meetings as well. So thank you both. Since the last meeting, I've covered a little bit of ground as well, attending the NCO David meeting up at Tennis Court, met with the Future of Community Board groups. You know I like to tell you about those meetings. They're really fruitful. And we are going to be working with the Center for Urban Pedagogy. This board will be doing its own thing. Other boards will be doing its own thing, but district managers from across the city will be working with CUP on looking into impacts of term limits at the various community boards in the city. And I will report out as that project progresses. I also met with the Department of City Planning first to do a training on their new platform for the district needs statements, and they've ironed out some kinks and wrinkles in the platform. But I know, Barden, I will not be super impressed until the actual product of that process improves, and that improvement will be demonstrated by quality agency responses to our district needs statements. So, stay tuned for that. Also, I met with them about the City of Yes for housing opportunity. We'll be talking about that a lot in the next couple of months. They kind of wanted to get a feel for our board and how they, how you all might want presentations. And I pointed out that it's really hard to speak on behalf of 50 individuals, but focused in on really the needs of the district, like where we are with housing, what has happened in our district in the past 10 years with housing, referred to our Fund for the City of New York reports on housing, talked about our lack of green space and stuff like that. So just trying to underscore some of the facts that exist about our district and have them try to focus in on and tailor to those needs. I also sent out, another thanks should go to Gregory Alvarez for helping compose the longest letter that it's ever been sent out from Community Board 14. Gregory Alvarez's work, our Fund for the City of New York planning fellow from last year, Lucy Phillips' work went into it, and then our local historian and jack of all trades, Joseph Enright, composed a letter that was, I think, 6 pages, 15 footnotes, and attachments A through N regarding Newkirk Plaza and for Newkirk Plaza. And then today I had the pleasure of joining Councilmember Farrah Lewis and her staff, who had invited the president of New York City Transit, Rich Davey, to take a walk on the plaza. And I carried the whole package just for show and tell, and because I'm strong. And so, just to make the impression that this is how much work this community has put into this. And so we hope to see a good result from all of that work in the near future. And I really appreciate, where's Abraham? I really appreciate Councilmember Rita Joseph's office Councilmember Farrah Lewis's. I appreciate Rita Joseph too, but in this case, Farrah Lewis's office for putting that together. I think that everybody had a good walk. It was a beautiful day for it finally too. And on that note, I'm taking the rest of the week off, but you all know where to find me if you need me. Thank you.
So before we go to the chair's report, there's some few individuals I'd like to recognize. So first, Abraham Malachowski on behalf of Councilmember Lewis. So thank you very much for being here. So also as well, Brian Grady from Councilmember Joseph's office. Thank you for being here as well. And also Nancy Lulu on behalf of the DA. So thank you very much for being here as well. And also we have Orlando Ross from the Congresswoman's office. And Portia Edwards as well from State Senator Myrie's office as well. So, okay. And also, last but not least, Jacob Gold from the Public Advocate's office. So thank you folks very much. And so now we'll go to the chair's report. So it's a bit robust, so get comfortable. So folks, good evening. For those who celebrated Laylat al-Qadr, I hope you did so well. And as Ramadan approaches its end, I hope that those who celebrate it have a festive and joyous Eid al-Fitr. And for those who celebrate Ridvan, I hope it's a joyous celebration. And I wish a happy Passover to the people who celebrate that as well. So the first thing is for the Brooklyn Borough Board report. I do not have one because there was not an April Brooklyn Borough Board meeting. It had originally been scheduled for April 2nd. However, due to that being a primary election day, it was rescheduled to Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. So that's it on the Brooklyn Borough Board front. In terms of public hearings, we had 2 public hearings on Thursday, April 4th. So both of them happened at the Brooklyn Community Board 14 office. The purpose of the first hearing was to hear public testimony by community members with respect to a proposal by the Women's League Community Residences, Incorporated DBA as Maker Care and Services Network, and the New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities in relation to an application for a potential community residence to be located at 1328 East 17th Street between Avenue M and Cedar Street within Community District 14. And all of that is in compliance with Section 41.34E2 of the New York State Mental Hygiene Law. So the proposed community residence will be in a 2-story, 1-family home for up to 4 young adult females who are ambulatory, moderately and severely disabled, and or autistic. So this agency will provide housing, meals, recreation, companionship, and continuous 24-hour supervision in a home-like environment staffed by professionals. So the applicant provided a general history of the organization, how the women were selected to be housed there, and the explanation of how the staffing shifts worked. So members of the public were asked to register at the back table of the Community Board 14 District Office to submit testimony for this hearing. There were no registered speakers. And in addition, the Community Board Office did not receive community testimony prior to the public hearing. And so board members who were present at the meeting, we did discuss the application. In the end, a recommendation was made to approve the application without conditions. And so I know I've said a lot, so I'll stop right there. Is there any discussion on the matter from board members here tonight? Okay, so hearing none, do I have, oh, sorry about that. Board Member Parker, yes.
Is this the same, when they asked you for a board meeting a few months ago to discuss this, or is this a separate? Thank you.
Separate, different application than a previous one, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Are there any additional questions for board members regarding this public hearing? Okay, so hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the recommendation that came from that public hearing of approving this application with no conditions? Okay, so all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. And anyone ineligible? Okay, thank you. So the motion carries. So on to the second public hearing. The second public hearing was right after that one, same place. And this was to hear public testimony by community members with respect to an application to the Landmarks Preservation Commission for a house restoration and renovation proposal at 1100 Albemarle Road, Block 5115. Lot 1. So this is a freestanding townhouse in Prospect Park South, Historic District, and the owners of the property provided a general history of their journey to Brooklyn. They affirmed their desire to restore the property within acceptable LPC guidelines, and in conjunction with the architect who was also there, they went over the plans for that property. So members of the public were asked to register at the back table of the Community Board 14 office to submit testimony for the hearing. There were no pre-registered speakers, and the Community Board office did not receive community testimony prior to the hearing. So board members who were present, we did discuss the application, and in the end, a recommendation was made to approve the application without conditions. And so is there any discussion on this matter from any board members here tonight? Okay, so seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the recommendation from the public hearing with regards to this property following the LPC guidelines? Oh, great. And so all those in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Anyone ineligible? Okay, so that concludes the public hearing piece. Now for the next part of the chair's report, this is about the Brooklyn Community Board Chairperson's Biennial Workshop. And so on March 21st, Brooklyn Borough Hall held a Community Board Chairperson's Biennial Workshop at Brooklyn Borough Hall, and it was attended by Brooklyn Community Board chairs, board members, and also former Chairperson Brown, Borough President Reynoso, and some members of his staff. There were 5 items on the agenda. It was a welcome and overview, term limits and succession planning, the importance of committees, meeting facilitation, and procurement management. So the most robust part of the meeting happened in the 2nd through 4th items, which were term limits and succession planning, the importance of committees, and meeting facilitation. Borough President Reynoso said a few key things. The first one is he said his office understood that the tone and intent of the original letter regarding board member appointments and phasing out was not well received. So he said that his office would work on a revised letter and send that out. That timeline is to be determined. The second thing that was mentioned was he said that except for attendance or someone lying on an application, a board member will not be removed from a community board. And so from here, a larger conversation developed that covered main areas. Concerns about the application process, specifically clarity on the ask that board members be re-interviewed. And also there was a larger conversation about how are people being appointed, several boards highlighted some challenges of board member engagement, ranging from people who show up for a general board meeting and that's it, or they rarely show up, but yet they get reappointed. And then there was another larger conversation about creating a pipeline of engaged board members who are willing and able and excited to take on leadership positions in their respective board. And so at this point of the conversation, this is when some board chairs shared practices that they have implemented to address engagement and recruitment. And this was also the moment when Board Member Brown shared with the group CB14's transition committee approach and also our board's general approach to structuring committee leadership. And so the board chairs were thankful for the sharing of information, and some more people also shared some of the steps they've taken in this regard. And so when the agenda came to committees and meeting facilitation, the General Counsel expressed the following things: that committees are important because they are the venue to have a deeper debate and discussion on items, and that the general board meeting's primary purpose is to get action done, to approve or disapprove recommendations, et cetera. And so therefore, if an action cannot be taken, then there's no harm in saying out loud there's not enough information at the time, and then it's up to the board to figure out a mechanism to get the information to a point where action can be taken. And so the next piece and last piece of the chair's report, so thank you for staying with me. It's Brooklyn Town Hall on the closure of SUNY Downstate Brooklyn Hospital. And so on Monday, March 18th, Brooklyn Community Boards 9 and 17 held a joint town hall at the High School for Public Service at 600 Kingston Avenue, right by Wingate Park. And board members Brown, Chenga, Jada, and I attended it. So in early winter, like let's say mid to late January/early February, the state announced a plan to close SUNY Downstate Brooklyn Hospital. And so the state said the main reasons were due to a projected cost of up to $4 billion to make necessary repairs. So I pulled that from a News 12 article, and then also an ongoing deficit of about $100 million per year on average. I pulled that from the same News 12 article, and then a low occupancy of the beds. And so Brooklyn CB9 and 17 chairs said they found out about this plan in early February, and the purpose of the town hall was to increase knowledge sharing with the community because they felt the state was not as transparent with the communities who could be impacted by this decision, and also receiving community feedback on ideas on how to improve SUNY Downstate Brooklyn Hospital. And so some of the things that were said were that SUNY Downstate Brooklyn Hospital is the only teaching hospital in Brooklyn. There were multiple elected officials who attended. Some of the key takeaways were all of their respective offices have in some way reached out to the governor and chancellor to let them know that plan as stated was unacceptable. Another theme was that for decades, SUNY Downstate Hospital has not received the support it should have. And so therefore, all these people were saying that it's not enough to keep it open, that it also needs to be invested in so that it's better than it is now. And then a third piece that the elected officials said that was consistent was in some way, shape, or form, their offices are seeing if there's some way to leverage existing state or federal funding in terms of appropriation for this. And so after they spoke, you had some folks from the medical field who spoke as well. Some of the key points they made were that language matters because they said SUNY Downstate has been labeled as a hospital of last resort or a COVID hospital, and these people felt personally that the very people they serve, giving that terminology, is what they're being punished for. So that was their take on the importance of language in this. Another important point is some people felt the chancellor's calculations may not accurately reflect the reality of working in a hospital. So they really wanted the state to revisit how they came up with those numbers. And then they repeated a similar theme from the elected officials, which was they don't just want SUNY Downstate not to close, they want it to be improved, right? So that was a consistent theme as well. So as it turns out, after these two groups of people spoke, there wasn't much time left for public testimony, but the people who did speak reiterated those same themes. And so that ends the chair's report. And I would like to recognize some additional folks who are here. So first, we have Taisha Allen. So thank you very much for being here. And we also, from Assemblymember Bashad Hermalin's office, so thank you very much. And then we also have Izzy Weiss from Councilmember Vernikov's office. So thank you very much as well for being here. All right. And so this takes us to the topical committees. And so first up will be Youth Services, Education and Libraries Committee, followed by Community Environment, Cultural Affairs, and Economic Development. So,
Good night, everyone. Oh, you guys are sleeping in here. Good night, everyone. Good night. All right. This is going to be really quick. So just wanted to name, hi, everyone. I am the new co-chair for Youth Services, Education, and Libraries. I got it. Hey. Along with Eric. But Eric's not here with us today, but just wanted to name that we did not have a meeting this month. We are planning one for next month, so please look out for that on your calendars. And yeah, thank you, guys.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Ed Sen, co-chair of the Community Environment, Cultural Affairs, and Economic Development Committee meeting, along with Melissa Minich. We also did not have a meeting this month. Our upcoming meeting will be on Thursday, April 18th, via WebEx at 6:30. So 2 agenda items. This will be Let's Green NYC, a program to increase volunteerism in New York City parks. And we'll hear from our CB14's New York City planning fellow, Paige Kloss, regarding flooding in the district. And do you have anything else to add, Melissa? Sorry. Okay. Well, thank you.
okay, so next up for the topical committee report, we have Housing and Land Use, followed by the Transportation Committee.
Hello, good evening. My name is Talisha Sainville. This is Gregory Alvarez. We are the co-chairs of the Housing and Land Use Committee. On March 18th, 2024, the Housing and Land Use Committee held a committee meeting to hear a presentation of the City of Yes proposal for housing opportunity. This pre-certification presentation was done by the following members of the New York City Department of City Planning: Hanif Yazdi, Alex Sumner, John Mangan, and Laura Merida. And as usual, you should definitely check out the CB14 YouTube page to listen to this entire presentation and some of the commentary that was brought up. And I'm sure that you'll find other goodies on the CB14 website.
All right. So yes, I'm just going to talk briefly about the second agenda item we had at that March 18th meeting. We had Sarah Guillet and Sabrina Simon from the Flatbush Tenant Coalition. They spoke about their mission, which includes outreach to tenants to organize tenant organizations and rent-stabilized buildings. Their goal is to preserve and keep these units safe for the residents who need them. The second piece of it had to do with their initiative to try to support the right to counsel law at the state legislature level. There's already a city law that's in place, but sort of sporadically enforced. So, but what they're trying to do at this point is try to get the state law passed. And so they had asked support from the community board to voice that support to Albany. So they presented to us a resolution to use in that spirit, and I think tonight we were just looking to see if that would be the consensus of the board as well, to authorize a letter in that spirit to support the new legislation. So I'll turn it over to Sean if there's anything else to add on that.
No, I think
Yeah.
you covered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The template's there, and
Right.
the precedent is there at the city level.
Right. Right. So at the committee meeting, there was a general consensus in support of it. So tonight we were just looking for that as well from the full board.
Do you want to take a motion?
Yeah, sure. And so then, so committee chairs Alvarez and Sainville, thank you very much for that. And so let me make sure I get the motion correct. So do I have a motion to approve Community Board 14 sending out a letter in support of the right to counsel legislation proposed at the state level. Is that an
Right, and
accurate
just-
summary?
Right, and it's specifically designed to provide counsel for anyone who wants it, who needs it in landlord-tenant court to help with eviction proceedings. So I should have mentioned that as well. So if we could add that as well.
Okay. Yes. So then let me repeat the motion again and make sure I got it right. So do I have a motion to approve Community Board 14 sending out a letter in support of legislation before the state to enforce the right to counsel for people who are, I guess, who need the most help and are the most at risk within housing court?
I think that's fair, yes.
Okay, great.
First, second, and third.
Okay, so then all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Anyone ineligible? Okay, so there you have it.
Okay, great. And then just one other thing, Sean mentioned it earlier, we're still in the midst of the scheduling DCP again for City of Yes. I don't think we have a date yet, correct?
Save May
8th?
8th.
May 8th, I think is what we were talking about. Okay, so keep an eye out. May 8th will likely, or at this point is our next meeting for the
Yeah.
committee, but to be confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Very likely.
Thank you very much. And so next up, we have Transportation Committee, followed by Community Safety.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Joel and Musa, your favorite co-chairs. Sorry, I know, not to get personal. I'm so sorry. All right, so we had, I'll take the first item of the agenda. Joel will hit the other one. We had the MTA come give a general update on capital projects and the state of good repair for a bunch of the projects that affect the district. Most of the projects they presented on were already projects that we've updated you on at prior meetings, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but basically the F-line signal improvement upgrades are going to be finished after 4 years this year in 2024. They confirmed, or they reiterated for the Interborough Express line that the governor has allocated money for an environmental review. And they told us all about, or they reminded us all about the Church Avenue accessibility project and some of the disruptions it's going to cause both ways throughout the year this year. One thing to note on that is that originally they had planned for some service disruption, some of the bypass construction to happen in April, well now, this month, but it's getting pushed back to the summer, probably July. They did promise to tell us when on a timely basis. We hope that they will. And then finally, they presented on the MTA's Renewvation program, which is basically a program where if the MTA is already working on a station for some project, they kind of roll in a team of in-house folks to just paint it and pretty it up and do low or easy to achieve projects. Thank you.
Thank you. We also had a presentation at the March 26th meeting from a woman, Jaleese Race from Riders Alliance, which advocates for affordable, reliable, and accessible public transportation, which is something you can't argue with. The main part of the presentation was the Fair Fares program, which is important. It offers half-price Metro cards to persons living at or below 120% of the federal poverty level. And maximum income for a household of four is $37,440. Riders Alliance wants the program to cover people up to 200% of the federal poverty level. Presently, there are 1 million people who have Fair Fares cards, and if it's raised to 200% of the federal poverty level, there could be 3 million eligible people for the Fair Fare cards, which are applied through the New York City Human Resources Administration. Riders Alliance is also working to compel compliance with the New York City Streets Plan to add busways and bus lanes. The DOT and the mayor have identified Flatbush Avenue as a priority project for increased bus speeds. Average daily ridership on the 12 routes in the Flatbush area is 118,000 passengers, of which 67 are female, 78% people of color, and 55% immigrants. Riders Alliance is now actively engaged in community outreach along the Flatbush Avenue corridor. There's one other item. This is hot off the press. The New York City DOT is having a virtual open line webinar on the outdoor dining units. And that is happening on April 15th at noon. There's registration required. I assume we're going to post that on the...
I think it's already up on the website.
It's up on the website. So it's both for, people to understand it and also for restaurant owners, food purveyors to understand what the rules of the road are.
One last item I just wanted to update folks about, because some of these dates have changed over time. So just so you, as a reminder for folks, there is the Queens-bound BQE will be fully closed from Atlantic Avenue to Sand Street starting Saturday, April 13th at 2 a.m. until Monday, April 15th at 4 a.m. Just a reminder, because I know some of these dates have changed, so traffic is going to be diverted elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So next up, we have Community Safety, followed by Human Services.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Hinzi Benzel, and this is my co-Barden
Chair.
Vassan.
We are your favorite co-chairs. We just want to establish that for the record. Thank you.
Okay. So we hope everyone who celebrated enjoyed their Easter, and everyone who celebrates enjoyed their Ridvan, Eid Mubarak, and Chag Pesach, Kasher V'Sameach, wonderful Passover. We have a Community Safety Committee meeting scheduled for May 22nd. In lieu of all the fires that have been occurring, we wanted to have the FDNY speak about fire safety. One of the fires was actually very personal. It was my son's roommate's family. There was a 3-house fire. There was an older woman who was lighting candles, and she set herself sort of on fire. She ended up passing away, but all 3 houses were burnt down completely. So we have a FDNY fire safety is going to be at that meeting, and also the trafficking unit of the DA's office. We may possibly have Exalt coming also, which is catering to forming change for our youth. Another note, last year, Florenzia and I spearheaded an initiative to honor 45 mothers who are at a women's shelter for Mother's Day, and it was just so well received that Barden, Florenzia, and I would love to renew our initiative. And if anyone's interested in finding out more information or volunteering, you can contact us through the community board. And I will give my...
Sure, I'll say something, always. The 70th Precinct Community Council meeting was held on March 27th. Here are just a few takeaways. Major crimes down 22% last month. 15 guns seized. There were 10 cars stolen. Many of them were on Caton or Flatbush, and primarily because they were left running on the street. Okay. Retail theft is up, especially at Target. So if you see more items behind those plastic coverings, that's probably part of it. He offered 2 alerts. First of all, tax season is scam season, especially for older residents. Also, with the chronic problem we have of mailbox theft, if you can file electronically, it's probably safer. Otherwise, please, try to get it to the post office if you can. Pickpocketing in subways is up. The term he used is bump and pick. It sounds like something out of basketball. Carl Henry, would you agree?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Essentially, if you're walking up and down the stairs and all of a sudden somebody bumps into you, first thing you do is check for your purse or wallet. Because they're counting on you being flustered, concerned, maybe, worried about falling down the stairs. Seems to be an age-old technique, and they're just resurrecting it, and it's effective. Last thing, we had a discussion, as we typically do, about scooter and e-bike enforcement, or lack thereof, and what the problems are with that. And this is the first time he had told me this, which is that any gas-powered vehicle has to be registered and have plates. Electric ones do not at all. And so the worst they can do for ticketing an e-bike is what they can do for bicycles, which is an ECB violation, which is just barely even a slap on a fingernail. And so we discussed, and just something to sort of consider, is that maybe we should lobby our council members to perhaps advocate for e-bikes and similar type scooters like that to have to be registered, because he said it would make his job a lot easier to enforce them. And that is all. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
I think he simply said anything that is gas-powered has to be registered, and that is the distinction.
My understanding is that the mopeds that are electric are entirely illegal, as opposed to electric bikes, like pedal assist bikes, ones that look like bikes and don't, those. We're happy to follow up on this out of this forum. Just wanted to, try to clarify that there's a difference between mopeds and bikes for this.
Thank you.
Got you. Thank you for that. And so next up, we have Human Services Committee.
Good evening, everyone. On Wednesday, April 3rd, my co-chair, Yvette Clerjean, and myself, we co-hosted our Human Services Committee. We had two presenters, Sharice Lawrence from the Department for Aging and Alicia Bryant from NYC Connect. New York City Department for the Aging helps over 1 million older adults. That's folks who are 60 and older. There are 300 centers in our city. The membership is free of cost. They provide meals for homebound elders. However, they must be referred by a caseworker upon recommendation from a social worker. Most older adults call for assistance, we were told, regarding housing and transportation. Note, if at risk for an eviction, you must be referred by housing courts or the judge. You can go to their website. They do have brochure and additional information. Note also that they provide respite for caregivers, and they do provide jobs for those who are 55 years and older. There are various programs, most of which are underutilized. So please go to our CB14 website and also the YouTube channel. There's so many valuable information that's there. And it's not just for older adults, but if there are children whose parents are older, you need this information. There are a lot of valuable services that are underutilized. Aging Connect can be, you can contact them at 212-244-6469. New York Connects covers everything. They kind of overlap, or they just, kind of joint services. They're located at 1655 Flatbush Avenue, which is just a little below the junction, or right there. They provide food, housing, healthcare, tenants' rights they deal with, and they support for individuals in crisis. You can call 718-671-6200. The hours are 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Mondays. They're open a little later, but on Tuesdays through Friday, it's 9 to 5 p.m. And as I said before, please, please, please go to CB14 website and the YouTube channel, as our board member suggested.
Good evening, everyone. Also at our meeting, we are discussed the planning of the 12th annual nonprofit roundtable, which will be on Thursday, May 9th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here at East Midwood. Many wonderful organizations who provide programs and services in our communities have been invited. They'll have the opportunity to discuss their successes, challenges, as well as network with each other. We will also be having a keynote speaker, which will be confirmed. If there are any new community organizations that you would like us to invite to the nonprofit roundtable, please give us that organization's name and their contact. And also, if any board members are available and would like to come help us at the roundtable to help facilitate small group discussions, please let us know. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you as well. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Wayne Rosenfeld and the East Midwood Jewish Center for hosting our meeting. And I want to give a shout out part 2 to Mark Moss for live streaming it. So. All right, so this brings us to our public comment period. And so board members are expected to remain for the public comment period. So speakers can sign up for time with Patricia Olander at the back of the room up until the beginning of the public comment period. And so matters of civic interest and announcements of public events are invited. I would just like to remind folks, please, no partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises are permitted. So each speaker will be permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not receive additional time from another speaker. So speakers are directed to address the assembly from the front of the room. And so just speak over there, please. At the conclusion of the 3-minute period, each speaker must return to their seat, and the board has an obligation to conduct its business in an orderly manner. And so if any person is preventing the meeting from continuing in an orderly fashion, said person may be asked to leave. And so accordingly, speaking time will be assigned first to speakers from different groups, then to speakers addressing different issues, and finally, time permitting, to additional speakers on an issue from a single group. And so it is 7:47 p.m. So the first speaker is, and please let me know if I mispronounce your name. The first speaker will be Antonia Bramble. Did I get that right? Okay, thank you. So Antonia Bramble, followed by Nancy Lulu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. Greetings from Brooklyn Public Library. Thanks to everyone who has been visiting our libraries. Earlier this year, Brooklyn Public Library challenged New Yorkers to visit all 62 branches throughout 2024. So you can pick up a passport at any Brooklyn Public Library open 62 locations and collect stickers at each branch you visit. I also brought some passports that's in the back as well. The first 100 people to complete their passport will also receive a limited edition BPL Ambassador Library card. As of April 1st, almost half of those limited edition cards have been claimed. And everyone who finishes their passport by the end of 2024 will receive a special tote bag. New York City libraries stand to lose $58.3 million in the proposed city budget, which could require hard decisions about the materials, programs, and even open hours and location we are able to offer. So therefore, we are asking all library supporters to visit investinlibraries.org and send a letter to city leaders telling them not to cut library funding. We would like to express our gratitude to the teenagers who participated in the teen writing contest. The deadline for submission was March 31st. New York City students in grades 6 to 12 were invited to submit poetry and prose to Brooklyn Public Library Teen Writing Contest. A total of $3,000 will be awarded in prizes. If you know of anyone who is looking to start a business, please let them know about our 2024 Power Up Business Plan competition. You can win a $20,000 in cash award to start your own Brooklyn-based business. There will be virtual and in-person session to start off to get yourself into the Power Up competition. And last but not least, discover your city with Culture Pass. Culture Pass makes it easier to explore more of New York City's best museum and attractions. So if you have a library card, you can reserve a pass and get free admission to dozens of cultural institutions, save money, and discover more of what your city has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So next up, we have Nancy Lulu, followed by Bessie and Alexander Kravaski. So Nancy, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I bring greetings on behalf of DA Gonzalez. Just wanted to share that the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office will be holding a prescription RX drug take-back. Turn in your unused and expired prescription medications for safe disposal on Friday, April 26th from 10 to 4. There will be 6 drop-off locations throughout Brooklyn. The closest here would be the Kings Bay Y. We don't have a location within this district. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Office is launching an essay contest. This initiative is designed to give Brooklyn high school students a platform to voice their innovative ideas on public safety. We are inviting students from grades 9 to 12 to engage in critical thinking challenges by writing an essay. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Essay Contest winner will be invited to meet District Attorney Eric Gonzalez during a visit to our office in May. The winner will also receive a $500 prize, an Apple Mini, and a certificate. The deadline for that is April 24th. And as always, if there's a matter you would like to address with our office, you could call our Action Center at 718-250-2340. I also would like to wish everyone that observes, a blessed Ramadan. I believe next week is the Eid, so happy Eid as well, and happy upcoming Passover. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much for that update, Nancy. So next up, we have Bessie and Alexander, do I have to say it right, Kravaski? Korovsky? Okay, thank you. All right, followed by Christopher Bromson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm here with my wife, Bessie. I'm going to let Bessie go first, and then I'm going to speak afterward.
Good evening, everyone. On January 19th, 2024, our beautiful baby boy of 11 months and 11 days passed away due to excess inhalation of steam and thermal burns from a steam radiator that malfunctioned, making the room a total of 215 degrees plus. This is the third death of a baby that has occurred due to a steam radiator malfunction. Several years ago, 2 babies passed away from a steam radiator malfunction as well. Up to this date, if you Google the dangers caused by steam radiators, there is no documentation stating that they're dangerous, even after those 2 babies passed away, and now the third. In fact, it states that death caused by excess inhalation of steam is almost impossible, and that steam radiators are safe. Pre-war buildings are often rent-stabilized, affordable apartments that have many families occupying them, including babies. As a result of what happened to our baby boy and 2 other documented cases of babies passing away from a steam radiator, it is imperative to ensure that another death of a baby or any human being does not occur again due to a malfunctioning radiator. It is of utmost importance that pre-war buildings are properly maintained in order to be able to house families and people safely in them. Rather than simply hoping that this tragedy does not happen again, the only way to ensure the New York City tenants, many of whom are elderly, children, and babies, is through clear and specific legislation that enforces mandatory inspections. This would include a time frame for how frequently radiators are required to be inspected, such as annually or every 6 months, biannually, as well as who is conducting the inspections. For example, that they're done through qualified New York City licensed professionals who are authorized by the Department of Buildings. Doing so and initiating a bill that would prevent further babies and further people from passing away due to this type of tragedy would ensure New York City tenant safety is an absolute priority. Thank you.
So I think that my wife Bessie pretty much hit on every main point The one thing that I did want to say is that the DOB, they're known to have a lot of codes. There's all these different regulations that they got to follow. Buildings are inspected, the boilers are checked. All of these different things have like a rigorous list of inspections. But it seems like the most common sense, the most obvious thing to actually look at is being neglected. A steam radiator that can potentially kill a grown-up with 215 degrees Fahrenheit should be inspected. And no, this was not a quote-unquote freak accident. This is something that should have been prevented. It could have been prevented, and it should have been prevented. And the fact that it wasn't speaks volumes about what the DOB should be doing. This is not antagonistic toward any one agency. It's not trying to single out one person and put all of the blame on them, but it's about holding different parties accountable. People that are most vulnerable are elderly, seniors, children, babies, and anyone with limited mobility. This could have happened to anyone. And the only way for you to resonate and to feel, think if it was, God forbid, your own child, your own mother, your own father, your own neighbor, your own grandparent. We're not here to gain sympathy. We're here to just be honest. We want steam radiators to be inspected at a minimum of once a year. The DOB should have created these guidelines a long time ago. New York City tenants that live in these pre-war rent-stabilized buildings are vulnerable people that require support and safety. And if we don't have physical safety in the most safest place, our home, then how do we really have any rights? Let's please work together as a community to collectively prioritize NYC tenant safety. Thank you.
Thank you. And so next up, we have Christopher Bromson, followed by Orlando Ross.
Good evening, everybody. First, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I really hope we as a board can have that conversation, take that up. I have been a long-time listener, first-time speaker here at the board, so nice to see everybody. I wanted to take just a minute to talk about another way to really have an effect on our community and the city that we love so much beyond the district. I'm part of the New York Public Radio Community Advisory Board, which is currently recruiting for new members. The Community Advisory Board of New York Public Radio is similar to this space. It's a very active, diverse group of people who really care about advancing public radio and the coverage that it has in New York City and beyond. So NYPR is WNYC, WQXR, the classical station, all of the podcasts that come out of the studio, and Gothamist, along with the Green Space. So if you're interested, it's a really wonderful way. It's another monthly meeting, but you're welcome to get more information and apply. We can spend another evening together per month. It's wnyc.org/CAB. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So next up, we have Orlando Ross, followed by Devin Chester.
Hello, everyone. I won't be before you too long. Thank you for taking this time. Happy Passover to Community Board 14. Happy Ramadan and happy Easter. We have one event that's happening, and it's definitely for the young people of our community. We will be doing the app challenge, not the app challenge, but the Congressional Art Challenge, which will be happening in our office, and it's also going on all over the United States. We're asking Community Board 14 if they know any high school students or middle school students that are interested and are artistic, that they can apply for the art challenge. The actual prize will be that their art, if selected, will be able to hang in the halls of the Capitol for 1 year. And they will be able to come down to the U.S. Capitol and present their artwork to the community. If you need any information about how to apply, please feel free to give me a call at 347-963-8037. You can always reach our office at 718-287-1142. We're located at 222 Lenox Road, and we do a host of informationals, specifically also on immigration, small business, and the IRS. Another thing too, regarding IRS, we are really stressing that if you are doing your tax returns, please make sure that you do direct deposit, because I've been seeing a high tick in how many people have been losing their checks. And because of that, it complicates you getting your refund on time. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. So next up, we have Devin Chester, excuse me, followed, Delvin, excuse me, my bad. So Delvin Chester, followed by Brian Grady.
Good afternoon, good evening, I'm sorry. Good evening to each and everyone. All community members, good evening, and all community board members, good evening. My name is DeLon Chester. I'm from the League Center for Health and Wellness, and this is my first time here, so excuse my little nervousness. Basically, we are based on 2211 Church Avenue, the corner of Church Avenue and Flatbush. We are a health and wellness clinic. We are here to provide collaborative work with the community for those individuals that are in need of assessment, medication regulation, various diagnoses of young adults. We go all the way up to 26, and we're here to work again in partnership and collaborativeness with the community. What do you need? What kind of health, wellness, mental health care do you need in the schools? And for the elderly, again, all the way up to the age of 26. We don't know everything. I'm new to this community, and the clinic has been around for, the hospital has been around for approximately, I would say, 50-something years. I don't know if you've heard of the League School, but the clinic, it's new. And again, we're moving around different community, different CBOs, and we're basically trying to do outreaches to collaborate with the community and finding out what the needs are and how could we better serve the community in health and wellness. Thank you. I left various flyers in the back there, and I also would like to extend gratitude and appreciation for Sarah for opening the doors and allowing me to be here. Thank you again to the community leaders and everyone. Thank you.
While you're sitting down, I want to also say that we're looking forward to seeing you at the Nonprofit Roundtable, Mr. Chester. I think that it's going to be, a great event for everyone.
Hi, good evening. I'm Brian Grady. I'm Director of Constituent Services for Councilmember Rita Joseph. I just want to start by expressing my condolences to the folks who spoke earlier, to thank you for your testimony. So just have a few events I wanted to publicize to folks, and we do have some flyers in the back. This one is coming up fast. I actually just found out about it today, but we are going to be giving out, in conjunction with New York Cares, Metro Plus Health, Elite Learners, and Brooklyn Emerge, some free winter coats for folks who need it. That's going to be on a first-come, first-served basis this Thursday from 12 to 3 at Metro Plus Health Brooklyn at 221 Church Avenue. And also coming up this week on Friday at Morris Heights Health Center at 1095 Flatbush Avenue, Friday at 3 o'clock. This is going to be the Healthy Parents, Healthy Babies Community Resource Fair, and the flyers in the back to RSVP. And also coming up this week on Saturday, NYC Teen Dating Violence Awareness Walk. Again, QR code to sign up in the back for that. That's going to be hosted by the Healing Center, and that's convening at 10 o'clock on Saturday at Tillery Street and Cadman Plaza, and it's going to be a walk across the Brooklyn Bridge.
We have, once again, next month, we actually had this today at our office, our monthly New York Legal Assistance Group van for assistance with any public benefits or housing issues. The next one's going to be on Thursday, May 9th from 10 to 3. That's by appointment, again, at our office at 930 Flatbush Avenue. If you ever need to reach us for any constituent services or for housing help or referral to immigration legal help, you can reach us at our phone number at 718-287-8762, or again, come by the office at 930 Flatbush any day, Monday through Thursday from 10 to 5. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Brian. And so next up, we have Jacob Gold, followed by Avraham Malachowski.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Greetings from New York City, Public Advocate Jumani Williams. My name is Jacob Gold, nearly a lifelong resident of this community as well. And I am going to start out by sending my deep condolences to the family that came up earlier, just a few moments ago. That is certainly a horrific experience, and that no one deserves to go through. So, what's going on? We have some legislative news. The worst landlord, Daniel Oheb Shalom, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who was the worst landlord on the worst landlord watch list for 2 years, was arrested. So we hope this is a sign of things to come in terms of bringing our predatory landlords to justice. Also, the public advocate, we were talking about e-bikes earlier, so the public advocate did release a proposal to prevent e-bike batteries, fires by distributing fireproof battery storage bags. The lithium-ion batteries used in e-bikes continue to cause alarming number of fires citywide. The public advocate is calling for the city to invest in the fireproof battery storage program. We have some upcoming events. The couple of these passed here, so I'll try to, in the interest of time, skip. And the public advocate has his program on News 12, the Ask the Advocate program, and the next one will be Monday, April 18th, except I believe that's not a Monday, that is a Thursday. I know because I have something that day as well. And that is at from 7 to 7:30 on News 12. And, oh, yes, free tax prep is available for eligible New Yorkers. Reminder, the deadline for your 2023 taxes is April 15th. Find out more at nyc.gov/DCA. That's the Department of Consumer Affairs. And there we go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jacob. And so next up, we have Abraham, followed by Taisha Allen.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sorry, let me try and take this out to be a little lower. My name is Avraham. I'm representing Councilmember Farrah Lewis. I'd like to begin by expressing our condolences to the Korovsky family. This was a horrific event that occurred in our district, and the council member is currently working on legislation to ensure that such tragedies can never occur again. As everybody here is aware, Councilmember Lewis has been appointed as chair of the Committee on Women and Gender Equity, and is currently working on a package of legislation towards pay equality and addressing health disparities for women. These issues are especially pertinent now as it's Sexual Violence Awareness Month. The council member attended COPO's Ramadan lighting on March 11th. We thank COPO for organizing this event and all the good that they do for our community. This Friday, the council member hosted her annual pre-Passover community stakeholder meeting. This meeting brought together elected officials as well as representatives from the FDNY, DSNY, NYPD, and the mayor's office to answer any questions that the community may have about pre-Passover preparations. We thank the representatives from these agencies as well as representation from Community Board 14 who was there. Your partnerships are cherished and valued. Today, our office hosted a walkthrough of Newkirk Plaza with the New York City Transit President Davey to discuss many issues and concerns that our civic leaders and community members have brought to our attention. We want to once again thank Community Board 14 District Manager Campbell for attending and sharing concerns on behalf of the community. The council member also hosted a family fun day in partnership with Assembly Member Helene Weinstein. This event was a time for families to come together and engage in fun games and an egg hunt. Our annual Take Back the Day bike ride has been rescheduled to April 27th. Our office offers immigration services, housing services, or services for assistance with any other city-related issues that anybody may have. As always, we're located 1434 Flatbush Avenue, and our phone number is 718-629-2900. I'd like to end by wishing everybody who celebrates a happy Passover and an Eid Mubarak. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abraham. So next up, we have Taisha Allen, followed by Lauren Collins.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, condolences to the family on the passing of your son on behalf of Assemblymember Ronnie Bishop-Hermelin. Just want to share with you, sorry, I kind of sort of lost my notes here. My apologies. Okay, so just got to go at the top of my head. So I lost my notes here quickly right here. But just want to congratulate Kojo on the recent 45th Legislative Community Breakfast. There was also in remembrance of Rabbi Pikus, which was also a well-known friend to the member as well. It was a successful event, especially to the honorees as well. We also joined with Chastity Lev and their food distribution for Passover, and so we want to say that was such a success, and we was pleased to have joined our local leaders and the volunteers for the community there. For some small announcements that we do have coming up. Awesome. Sorry. Yes, for some small announcements that we do have coming up. Monday, May 6th, the Assembly member, along with Senator Sanders and Assembly members Amanda Septimo and Clyde Vernell, will be hosting the MWBE Advocacy Day, advocating for the extension and expansion of the MWBE program, Article 15A, third floor terrace of the Legislative Office Building in Albany. And we let that be known as we do have local constituents here that do attend. So we want to put that information out. Flyers will also be circulating. Saturday, May 11th, we are bringing back our shredding event to the community in partnership with AARP and Delta Sigma Theta sorority at the Salem Missionary Baptist Church. And then on Thursday, May 16th, we'll be having our senior luncheon, 11 to 3 p.m. at this very location in the ballroom. We invite all of our seniors to come out and enjoy a day of fun with games, raffles, prizes, free resources from various vendors, and food sponsored by Dovey Catering. Seating will be limited, so we are encouraging all seniors to RSVP upon the receipt of the flyer that actually has been mailed out this week. We are wishing everyone a happy Eid al-Fitr on the celebration of a successful blessed Ramadan completion to all those who observe, and a happy Passover to come for those who observe as well. And very short notices, that concludes it. And feel free to reach out to us at 1312 Flatbush Avenue, 718-940-0428 with any concerns. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So next up, we have Lauren Collins, followed by Peter Maloney.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
My name is Lauren Collins. I'm Executive Director of the Church Flatbush Community Alliance, which used to be the Church Avenue Bid and Flatbush Avenue Bid. First thing, thanks to a grant we were awarded from the city, we are going to be installing 24 wrought iron tree guards in tree beds on Church and Flatbush Avenue. And we also put in a request to Councilmember Joseph's participatory budgeting for additional tree guards, because she can do new trees, we can do the older trees who were sometimes needing some help on the ground. So we encourage you to support Tree Guards for Healthy Trees, which is our proposal. Neighborhood Beautification Day will be on Saturday, April 20th, supported by Assemblymember Bichot, Hermelin, Councilmember Joseph. We're doing it in coordination with Kew Gardens Community Garden. We need volunteers. We are actually giving out community service credits. So if you have high school kids or junior high kids who need those credits and you know they need those credits, we're happy to work with them on that. We're going to also, as part of that, we're going to be aerating the soil in as many tree beds as we can to help with drainage for when those flooding events happen. So please talk to me if you want to be involved or if you have kids who could be involved. Church Avenue Street Fair, in coordination with the 70th Precinct, will be on Sunday, May 5th on Cinco de Mayo, 12 to 6 from Coney Island Avenue to Argyle. So keep tuned for that. And finally, we are seeking social media specialists and graphic designer professionals to work with us to create logos and other design elements for businesses. This is not a volunteer thing. We have a grant to do that. So if anyone is interested, if you have people in your network, please talk to me afterwards and give me your email address so we can send them the information when we're actually looking for people. We would love to hire Flatbush people. We were not restricting that, but that would be a preference. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much as well. So next up, we have Peter Maloney, followed by Portia Edwards.
All right, well, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Peter Maloney. I'm representing the South Midwood Residents Association, and I'd like to bring the board's attention to the alarming rise of helicopter traffic over our neighborhood and all the neighborhoods in Brooklyn. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it's on a clear day, you can see as many 30 helicopters going back and forth. Our resident association, we tracked it, and it's basically commuter helicopters. You can rent a helicopter through Uber or through Blade, and they make the short trip 8 minutes, but for us, it's a long trip and it's a lot of noise. It contributes to pollution, noise pollution, degrades quality of life, air pollution. Right now, there are 5 bills before the City Council that concern helicopter traffic, but unfortunately, 4 of them, only 4, address helicopter traffic at city-owned heliports, which really will not make any significant difference to our neighborhoods. These commuter helicopters are taking off from West 30th Street, which is owned and operated by the Hudson River Trust, which is related to the Economic Development Corporation. So they're sort of very hard to get at and very hard to legislate. On the positive side, 2 of the proposals, they're not legislation, they're just proposals, they would benefit South Midwood and other Brooklyn residents. And we urge the support of Resolution 24-226 that calls on the state legislature to ban all non-essential helicopter traffic from West 30th Street Heliport, and Resolution 24-233, which calls on the FAA to ban all non-essential helicopter traffic over New York. On another note, the FAA, if you make complaints through the FAA website portal, you'll get a notice back outlining all their guidelines. They're not regulations, they're just guidelines. And, you know, they have to fly a certain height and everything. They do not follow these guidelines at all. They're flying 700 feet or lower. They're supposed to be flying 1,000 feet. So the closer they get, the more noise they make. It could even be a safety concern. If they hit something or if they fall out of the sky, it could be really dangerous. So I just urge everybody to be aware of this and, you know, talk to your elected officials, and let's see what we can do to, you know, maintain the quality of life in our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. So next up, we have Portia Edwards, followed by Sydney Renwick.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Portia Edwards. I'm the District Director for State Senator Zona Myrie. I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible. As you know, the budget is still not passed. It's still something that we're working on, but we're proud that the Senator's budget resolution this year will include the call for exploring universal after-school, and that the city's recent budget proposal also urged expansion of existing programs. Also, the fight for SUNY Downstate continues. As you know, it is the Senator's main priority, universal after-school and saving SUNY Downstate. Office information. Our office is open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. By appointment. Every third Wednesday, our office has extended office hours from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if there's anyone who needs extended office hours, every third Wednesday of the month, we will extend our office hours until 8 p.m. So please feel free to make an appointment. On Wednesdays, we also have CUF, Churches United for Fair Housing, in our office, helping with Housing Connect applications. We can say that we've successfully housed 6 people who has come to our office, which is absolutely amazing. And so we're really excited. And if you guys need help, please feel free to come to our office. We're not saying that we can get you the apartment, but we can help. Make sure that your application is done properly. Other thing, the Earth Day celebration for the state is for school children in grades K through 12 from every corner of New York State. The state's goal is to encourage children to develop an awareness of the environment and its resources. Teaching children about the importance of recycling and waste reduction is critical as we face environmental challenges of the 21st century. And so we have a challenge for our students to submit an essay, a poem on what the state can do better, ways we can make Earth Day every day. The deadline for submission is April 12th. All schools in New York State would have received it via email from the state, but for parents who homeschool or for people who homeschool, the information to submit that, to submit any articles is on the New York State Senate website. And upcoming events, we are having a Eid al-Fitr activities on Wednesday, April 10th from 12 to 5 p.m. Along with Masjid at Taqwa, Brooklyn. It will be held at Major R. Owens Community Center. There will be lots of fun, face painting, a bunch of stuff happening there. So if you celebrate, please come on out. I believe that is it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And so I would also like to recognize Nixon Pierre from the Children's Rescue Fund. Thank you for being here. And also we have Sydney Renwick, who's up.
Can everybody hear me? No? Hello, everybody. Good evening. I am Sydney Renwick, Assembly Member Cunningham's Chief of Staff. It's nice to be here. Welcome, everybody. Happy Solar Eclipse Day. Hope everybody had a chance to go out and see the eclipse. Yes, safely, agreed. And thanks to BPL, who provided glasses for a lot of folks. I also want to offer my condolences to the family who spoke earlier. I would love to speak to you after about creating some legislation on the state side. I think what you mentioned is very important, so I just want to thank you for your time. As you all know, as Portia just mentioned, we have not passed a budget yet. Some of the Assembly members' priority legislation is the Caribbean Steel Pan Education Bill, which is 1717, passing Melanie's Law, which relates to the orders of protection and allows for immediate family members to be under orders of protection. We also want to make sure that 7546 is passed, which requires the Commission of Health to develop a sustainability plan for SUNY Downstate. And our faith-based affordable housing bill, which is 8386. A few events that are coming up. We have a Rat Academy that's taking place on April the 11th. And then we have a few flyers in the back, and they are Town Hall, which is happening on Sunday at 3. We are also in celebration of Financial Literacy Month, hosting Keys to Saving, a financial literacy workshop for folks, and that's going to be taking place on Tuesday, April the 16th, from 6 o'clock to 7. We also have our Women of Distinction event, which you can get a flyer in the back as well. That's happening on May 9th. And then we are also doing something in relation to maternal health care. And so we're having our maternal health care event. It's virtual, so everybody can join. That's going to be also on Tuesday, February 16th, but from 7 to 8:30. So please get flyers in the back. And also just wanting to let everybody know that we had our annual iftar party that happened last Thursday, which is a multicultural event, which was great and was hosted by a community member. So thank you all.
Thank you very much as well. So this concludes the public comment period. And so do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Thank you. So this meeting adjourns at 8:26 p.m. So thank you.